If you look at the history of Britain during the Empire, many people and countries rose up against it only to be viciously struck down. This fighting spirit and tenacity is in all humans. We now face a new threat, something we have never seen before. They have few weaknesses, you can't negotiate with them, they won't stop, they won't show mercy, all they will do is kill. But don't forget, humans are very good at killing things too. We have wiped out entire species before without even trying, we can do it again. It was odd to see a message proclaiming genocide as the answer. I put down the newspaper that looked like it had been typed up on a laptop, printed on a household printer, and photocopied. I got up from the camp bed. We were in a small church hall and were the only ones here. The rest of the 30 beds were empty, all neatly lined up and made, waiting for new arrivals that would probably never arrive. The hall was quite comfortable. The vicar had given us some biscuits and tea. I'm not a fan of tea, but after a cold night without sleeping, I gulped it down. I rolled over and tried to sleep. A Hastings hotel room. These two look promising. A tall man, clean-shaven, passed 2 manila files across a heavily scratched oak table to a short man with grey hair but with a few faint patches of black scattered across it. He wore a grey suit and white shirt, UN-buttoned at the top, and shoes that were polished to perfection. He opened the files and stared at the information for a while, almost as if he could find more information than what was actually printed. They're very young. He turned a page. No military experience, no fighting experience, a cleaner and a shop assistant, an odd combination. But they survived a long trip and their accounts speak volumes. It's all too well detailed to be made up. They're survivors. The gray-haired man frowned at the files again. They came looking for safety, and they say there are more of them in a place called Tunbridge Wells. Yes sir, 6 more to be precise. They also warned of a large group of thugs that have taken up residence in the courthouse. It says here he managed to kill their leader? Yes, but apparently it was in self-defense. He showed the officer on duty a stab wound he apparently received from him. Then fights off 2 armed men on his own one-handed, walks up to the thus doorstep, fakes a bomb, and survives a train crash. Yes sir. He stared again at the file and picture attached. Something was odd about it. The face that looked back was clearly young, younger than he should have looked, but the eyes said so much. They seen a lot but still retained a softness about them. Oddest of all was the fact that he was smiling. You see this? And this one too. He holds open another file with John's picture in it. Look at them, they're smiling. What does that tell you? The other man shrugged. I too tell you they are completely insane, or they are some of the mentally toughest people I have seen. Isn't that also a trait of serial killers? These days more serial killers would be handy, we can use them. He closed the files. Will they be willing though, sir? They don't have a choice in the matter. At the church. Wake up. I was roughly shaken awake by a man in army fatigues. I grabbed my baton thinking we were under attack. Whoa, no need for that, son. What do you want? We need you to head across the street to the office building for work assignment. We won't be here long enough for that. "I'm sorry, sir, but I am ordered to escort you there now. We need everyone to pitch in together." Despite a few grumbles, we complied. I had no urge to be arrested and thrown into military custody. There was a makeshift school in the church where Sky could stay. She was not eager to do so, but I think it will do her some good spending time with kids her own age. We crossed the deserted street and entered through a set of revolving doors with an armed guard on either side. We walked up to the reception desk. A young soldier took her names and previous work experience and told us to take a seat. After about 5 minutes, John was called away to a room whilst I waited. After about quarter of an hour, I was told to head upstairs, first door on the left. I went up and ran into a soldier who asked me to turn over any weapons I may be carrying. I did, and he waved me towards a wooden door. It was locked. The soldier wandered over and unlocked it. The door opened. It was pitch black inside. Suddenly, I was shoved into the room. The door slammed shut behind me. I was in complete darkness. Lights flicked on, temporarily blinding me. My vision returned. I was in a small room with a wooden table and chair. But against the far wall, one of them, its leg was tied to the table. It turned to look at me and moan. It was a former soldier, his uniform shredded and bloody. He was bootless. His comrades had probably taken them. I tried the door, locked. Fuck. The rope holding the thing to the table snapped as it leaned towards me. It fell flat on its face. That made me smile despite the situation I was in. The room was bare apart from the table and chair. I advanced, kicking my heel to extend the stiletto. I tried to kick it in the head, but it caught my leg, pulling me to the ground. I booted it in the face with my free leg and it relinquished. I scrambled away. I picked up the chair. I turned and broke it over the thing's back. This had little effect, but it wasn't meant to. One of the hair legs was still in my hand, now ending in a jagged point. I waited for the creature to its feet, then I drove the spike through its eye socket. It dropped to the floor. I moved away from the now re-dead corpse and sat on the table. What the hell was that? Did John have this happen to him? The door opened and I jumped off the table, flipped it over and scrambled behind it. 2 armed men stormed into the room, guns drawn. A man walked between them. He was a little shorter than me with severely graying black hair. I got up from the table. He walked straight past me like I wasn't there. He looked at the dead soldier, then at me. "Shame, we are going to have to catch another one now." He sighed. "I don't have to kill that one bare-handed, do I?" He looked at me as if he had just noticed I existed, an interested look in his eye which quickly faded. He turned to the 2 men. "I think we are going to get 2 chairs. Mr. Jack appears to have destroyed that one, and a cup of tea. Would you care for a drink?" He turned to me. "A pint? It's 9:30 in the morning." "Geez, is it that late?" "Better make it 2 pints then." A couple of minutes later, we had both taken a seat, me being closest to the corpse and furthest from the door. Stirred his tea whilst I looked in amazement as a can of Budweiser was opened and poured into a glass for me. Then the 2 guards left, leaving me with the man. We sat in silence for a moment. "I was joking about the pint, you know." "Nothing, no smile, nothing." "I think you are hot. Okay, then how about telling me where my mate is?" He took a sip of tea but continued to say nothing. I took a swig of beer. I'm having a wonderful time. I enjoyed meeting your friend. Another sip. Nothing. Can I go? Sip. Can I stay? Sip. Can I have that potted plant in the corridor? It would look great in my house. Your friend is fine. His sudden answer surprised me. He is talking with one of my associates now. By associate, do you mean zombie friend or human? See for yourself. He passed me an iPad. On the screen was a black and white camera feed showing a room exactly the same as this. Apart from it was John and a bearded man. There was a corpse in the corner. It looked like its head had been smashed repeatedly into the wall. The cracks on the wall supported this. I handed back the iPad. My name is Kane. And what can I do for you? Any more of those things roaming round you want me to deal with, just send them in the room till I drop. It's funny you should mention that. Why? Because we have work for you.